All right, looks like we're live on a Monday night Meltdown Long Monday. I'm Buddy Martin. The program is called The Buddy Martin Show. That means it's Monday. That means it's Shane Matthews time. Anxious to hear what Shane has to say about the big win by the Gators at South Carolina. We'll be joined midway through with Chris Doering, get his take on things. And then, of course, it's the Iron Duke Franz Beard mopping up. It's going to be a fun night, folks. Come join us. Tell your friends and neighbors. The Buddy Martin Show is now on the air.
Yes, it's call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Hello, hello, hello. It's a good Monday night. Got a week off and a chance to savor one of the biggest wins Florida's had in a long time. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was winning the SEC East or whatever, but at the time it happened, the context when it happened, and we'll talk to Shane Matthews about this because he called the game. This was as important a win as Florida's had in the Billy Napier era. So join us tonight. We'll talk about it. Get your comments tonight on Meltdown All Monday. Folks are already chiming in, jumping on to talk. I know Shane had a busy show this morning, a whole bunch of people. I'll watch it. Let's go right to the man in the orange and blue room, the guy who called the game. And by the way, has been on the money in his assessments of the quarterback situation in Florida, Shane Matthews. Shane, you got to feel good about it, buddy, how you've been talking about your man. He came through big time. Graham Mertz is a bona fide this year Gator hero.
Yeah, he's played real well all year long, buddy. He was phenomenal the other night in Columbia. Just continues to play at an extremely high level.
You told us, you've been telling us, now I'm going to give you full props. Don't get used to this because, I'm not going to do this to you all the time because I like to every now and then bust your chops to keep you honest around here because you're going to get the big head if I don't. So just in case, just want you to know. But you, my friend, have nailed it. You told us last year, stop worrying about the quarterback. And you used this phrase at least 10 times. He's going to be fine. Don't worry about arm strength. Worry about accuracy. The guy is a
he's
good
got
quarterback.
Plenty of arm strength. He's got
Yeah, I
plenty
know,
of arm.
but I mean, he didn't throw the ball 100 yards down the field like some people. You know what I mean? No, I get
Tell
it.
me
I
one-
get it. No, I get it.
But is there one legitimate quarterback that throws it that far that's successful?
No, and that's my
Sad.
point, is that Gator fans fall in love with a cannon. If a guy can throw it 100 miles an hour, they love that. And it's kind of the fan thing, of how far can he throw it, whatever. You've been right. And by the way, you also were right on Anthony Richardson. You said many times you questioned his durability and look at it. And that could be a loss to the season, unfortunately for Anthony. I feel bad for him. But let's focus on the positive things that happened, Shane. I think there are many things to take away here, not the least of which coming out firing, getting ready to play, being prepared, and marching down the field and scoring a touchdown right away. How big was that?
Well, we haven't seen that at all, I don't think, under Billy Napier. Made some adjustments on travel and things they did at the hotel. And I don't know if that played a factor or what, but yeah, that first drive was very nice. Now, obviously, I didn't expect the South Carolina to go right down to score after they got the football. But I was very proud of the way the team played. I liked our plan. I thought we coached well. I thought the team played with tremendous energy. And anytime you go on the road in the SEC and find a way to win, and especially with our road woes, it was a huge night.
It was, and I think more than anything else, it showed us they were prepared, which is the biggest criticism I had of Billy. not have his team ready to play. They were not ready a couple of times this year, and whatever he did, it worked. And I think when you see a coaching technique and you get a result from it, that's a very positive thing. Like, okay, he gets it, he knows how to fix it, and he did. But as you said, we didn't expect South Carolina and Spencer Rattler to come right back, bing, 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 and answer, and certainly did not expect when they got behind by 10 with 9 minutes to go, they were going to come back and win the game. That, to me, is something to build. The determination, grit, and fortitude of coming back on the road, to me, is what you build teams about.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought since the summertime they could be really good on offense due to the skill players that we have on this football team. The defense is a concern to me now after 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
I love Austin Armstrong. I love what he brings to the table. However, we have not played great defense in SEC play outside the home game against Tennessee, which Tennessee runs a very simple, I call it an elementary type offense. There's not a whole lot of scheming. There's no motioning. It's about 2 run plays and about 4 pass plays. It also helps that they don't have a very good quarterback. So we need to hopefully get healthy, put in some wrinkles for this Georgia game.
You talked on your show this morning about a couple of the pros. And I think the one that really impressed you was where late in the game, first of all, the 4th down play was miraculous. We know that was a good deal of good fortune, but as Billy said, God smiled on the Gators, like Steve Spurrier used to say. But the one throw he made for the touchdown, what a throw, what a look off, and what a catch by Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal execution on a lot of people's part. That's a formation that a lot of West Coast passing teams use, and West Coast offense is called sluggo seam. I don't know what we call it, but that's what we call it in the National Football League. It's a 3-by-1 formation. Your tight end stays in to help block. Arliss Boardingham stayed in. He didn't really block anybody, but he kind of got in the way. It allowed us to get the pass off. But the single receiver runs a slant and go. That was Khalil Jackson. He got jammed, and so that just takes that's kind of your first look and you pump fake, and then you come back and either the seam or the outside hitch are your next choices. And Graham just threw a beautiful throw. Ricky ran a good seam route, and it was thrown perfectly.
You like to see that. I saw the interviews this morning that Doering had. In fact, I have a link to it. I'm not sure I'll be able to show it with Mertz. He's a baller. They asked him whether he would like to keep playing or take time off. He said, for me personally, I'd like to keep playing. But he said, I know you need the time down to the rest of your body. But this guy has his leadership was something to behold. I think he grew up.
Yeah, so here's what caught my attention in the summer, buddy, that I jumped on board.
Yeah.
He's a true quarterback. And what I mean by that, and that's not a knock against any of today's world quarterbacks, but he just walks with such confidence. Doesn't say a whole lot. Now, he gets fiery at times, but he knows what he's doing. He throws the ball exceptionally well. He throws a catchable football. And so when you do those type of things, and he's got great leadership qualities, the team just feeds off you. The team just believes in you. I could see that in practice. And that's why I was just blown away at all this negativity from, again, give me anybody that's been worth a damn that's played quarterback at the University of Wisconsin. There's nobody.
Well, Ron Vanderkellen back in he was
okay. Well, whenever that was, like I said, I've never heard of them, so they weren't that damn good, obviously.
Shane, you're too young. You're too young. If you've been a little older.
Well, I still know a lot of old guys, buddy, that played in the 50s.
I'm just telling you, Ron Vanderkellen was a good player. Anyway, go ahead. I get your point. So, you're right. They're not many of them.
He's a really good player. He is an exceptional quarterback. He has all the attributes that you look for in a quarterback.
All right,
And
tell
what
me
I'm
what those
saying is,
are. Tell me what those attributes are.
okay, his decision making and processing information, he's
Yeah.
outstanding.
Yeah.
He's got great anticipation. He's got great accuracy,
Mhm.
and he's tough mentally and physically. The dude takes a beating and keeps playing. You didn't hear me say one damn thing about how fast he runs or how far he can throw a football or how hard. Because when it's all said and done, that ain't got nothing to do with playing quarterback. And that's why I'm saying he is a legit quarterback, and I think he will play in the National Football League for a long time as a backup.
Wow. Wow. He's a Spurrier type quarterback?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, coach may not say that, but I've watched all the coaches, players.
Yeah.
He would fit in perfectly in Coach Spurrier's offense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it certainly was. I loved the last touchdown of him getting knocked down and really getting pummeled, getting up, running off the field, taking his helmet off, and just cheering. He was hurting. I loved his
He got
enthusiasm.
He got
Nailed.
pummeled the entire game.
Yeah.
The entire game, the dude took shots.
Kid took it. He really did. It was impressive. So let's discuss a couple other things for Chris Jones. Just we talked about the defense a little bit. Certainly, Bordyham has got to be a guy who's been a good find. Obviously, we know Trey Wilson. What a play that was when that ball deflected in his hands. Obviously, not on purpose, but there's talent in that team.
There's no question. Again, that's why I picked us to win a minimum of 8 games. When I saw us throwing it around in the summertime, I'm like, these dudes. I think we have as good as skill players, or getting close to it, as when Trask had Pitts, Tony, Trayvon Grimes.
Yeah, and those four all played in the NFL. Yeah,
because I think Ricky Pearsall. The more I watched him play, but he might be a top 10 receiver on my list as a Gator.
You really like him all of a sudden. I know you said this morning you really began to like his play a lot.
He is unbelievable route runner, and he catches everything. He just
he's fearless. He's also fearless.
Yeah, he's got a knack of how to get. There's so many people that may run fast, may run good routes, may catch the ball well, but they have trouble getting open. He's got a knack to getting open. That's something you can't teach.
That's true. Something we haven't seen a lot of. Well, Khalil Jackson, boy, what a catch he made on that play. I like the play fakes they put in. I think that helped a lot, don't you? Early on,
they ran their offense. They just called more explosive plays, and just haven't called them for whatever reason. And now I think maybe Billy's wife bringing up that he needs to throw it deep. That she heard Coach Spurrier say it. Maybe that helped.
You know what? I think it did. I really think it did. You may be kidding, but I think that this is all part of it. I think. Well, think about it. He embraced it. He talked about it at the press conference, and then he has to go get his ball players from Spurrier. Previous coaches wouldn't give him the time of day. You know that. So
Coach can give him. Look, Billy's got plenty of ball plays. No, I tell everybody this: Coach Spurrier doesn't have any different plays than Bill Belichick or Nick Saban. Mm-hmm. Everybody has the same plays. They ain't like somebody's got secret pass plays. It's just knowing when to call them. And he called a great reverse pass, but hell, we let 2 guys come. We touched 2 guys, and Graham had no chance to throw the ball.
Yeah, it's right. I heard you say this morning he had 2 guys open, and both at the outside rush just got to him, got pressure. In just a minute, we'll have Chris on. We'll ask him about this. Which is the better catch? The one Pearsall made over his head, or the one he made, a one-hander he made a couple of weeks ago?
The one-hander is clearly harder than what he did.
Doering said the other one was. I heard him say it this morning on SEC now. Thought that was a better catch than the other one. So it was more acrobatic. He said it was a harder catch.
I disagree, because if he would have caught the one hand with his left, like his hand away from the ball, but the way he caught that one hand and got hit, I've never seen anybody do that. It's the best catch I've ever seen.
Bizarre, really bizarre. Did you ever find out which movie they went to see? Dan wants to know. What was the movie?
No, I didn't even know they went to a movie till Dan told me this morning.
Inquiring minds want to know. Who can tell us? What movie did they go to see on Friday night? We got to know that.
Well,
These are details
well,
we have to have.
if they did it like we used to do, you can go to any movie.
Rent
in
the theater. But what did they see? That's the question.
Well, what I'm saying is you could have gone and, like, some guys could have gone to see movie X.
Yeah.
The other ones could have gone to see movie B. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. That's the first time they've done that, actually.
Yeah. Well, this is Meldon Law Monday. We're going to play our spot for you in a second. But first, we're going to bring in our partner in crime. Here's a guy who was all jacked up on SEC now today. He got Alyssa Lang to do a Gator shop. He was brilliant today. He was a homeboy today. I'm proud of him. Chris Doering was just bleeding orange and blue all over the set today, and he joins the program now. Chris, good evening to you. How you doing?
Good evening. Yeah, it makes it a little easier when we play well and win ball games. So I'd like to have the opportunity to do that a little bit more often.
You know, I asked both you and Shane this. I don't think people so-called outside the program or people that don't follow the team realize the significance total of that game. Just the ability to breathe again, you know, and think, well, okay, now you're 5-2, you got an open day. Hey, things can happen. To me, I don't let you guys say it. It might have been not the greatest, one of the top 5 or 10 wins. It was one of the most significant wins in Florida football history, in my opinion. Chris, am I wrong?
I think time will tell. I mean, I think it's a game that could be a turning point in the program under Billy Napier, a turning point in what we've kind of gone through for the last decade plus.
Right.
You know, I remember, you know, my teams, and Shane was on that 92 team, and then, you know, my team in 93, like we struggled on the road for a while there, and kind of, you know, I think a lot of folks, Coach Burr often credits that 93 win for being the turning point where we started to figure things out and didn't let one get away that we probably should have had. And so I think this is the same kind of circumstance. I can't remember the last time we won a game where we were down double digits in the last few minutes of the ball game. But I think it's significant to take the pressure away. It's significant to reinforce to these guys and to the fans and everybody else that they're actually a good football team. And I think it's significant to, you know, go forward from here with, you know, something that you try to play up to that standard from here on out, but particularly on offense.
Shane, let me read you something and see if you agree or disagree. When we look back on the Napier era someday, if it is judged successful, as I now believe it will be, they will turn the page to October 14th, 2023, today of good fortune, strong will, sound principles, and a dedicated work ethic. When combined with a winning tradition and a rich heritage like the one Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer graced the program with, suddenly we begin to smell opportunity. Shane?
Well, I mean, I agree with Chris. I think it was a huge win, especially for Billy Napier, because we were 1-8 or 1-9, whatever it was, on the road, and we had to find a way to win the game. And now you can control your own destiny the rest of the year, or at least for another week or so, going into the Georgia game. And I don't think people in the summertime had any idea that we could control our own destiny going to the Georgia game. You know, maybe 15, 20 years from now, Billy Napier's still our coach. Maybe so. I think a lot of people, I've had discussion about this on my show, is that, yeah, we've only had about 25 years of successful football when we've been playing 125 or whatever it is. And I think people sometimes demean what Urban and Coach Spurrier did and just feel like anybody can come in here and do it. And Billy may be that guy. I don't know. I hope he is. But I think some people just take for granted that just because it's the University of Florida, that people can roll in here and win games. And really only 2 coaches have had a whole lot of success here. So we'll see. I hope so. I mean, I love Billy. I love what he did Saturday. Hopefully we can build on that.
I think it's a good point, too, just to expound on that, buddy. You know, for 40 years, Georgia didn't win a national championship. You know, they go a long time. Alabama went a long time before Nick Saban got there with being unsuccessful. So there's only a handful of teams nationally and maybe only 1 or 2 within the conference that can go on runs like, you know, we were fortunate enough to go on from the 90s, and then with Urban was here, and you know, kind of what Georgia's going through now, or Alabama has gone through for the last 15 years. it's rare. And so I think one of the things that maybe Gator fans and even us as players didn't really understand is that you have to appreciate it when you're in the midst of that. And hopefully there's been a little more appreciation for what success looks like after the last 10 years that we've gone through here.
Yes, and let me just bring the subject up. We talked about it a little bit before you got on, Chris. You believe in karma and things happening. It feels like maybe this is a reach, but all of a sudden you hear Steve Spurrier talking about throw the ball downfield, throw the ball downfield. Shane's been saying it all season long. And now you hear Billy mentioning in the press conference that his wife even asked him about it, and he was able to address it and talk about it in a semi-humorous way. But obviously it wasn't just humorous. That maybe had a little impact. You hear him embracing an old Spurrierism when that ball was tipped and Trey Wilson caught it, and he says, like Steve Spurrier said, God smiled on the Gators. I don't know. Am I making too much out of that, or am I beginning to see a little melding of the karma here, which is what you need when you take the tradition and the winning tradition of the past, and you embrace the people who made the program, then you add your own and you show that you're willing to listen and react to it. First, what do you think about that, Shane? Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think Billy has a philosophy, and sometimes it's hard to change people's philosophy. He wants to run the football, which is crazy to me because he's a former quarterback. But that's what he's done everywhere he's been as a head coach. And I think he trusts his quarterback. I think he knows he's got really good skill players around him. I think Billy gets concerned about, when it's all said and done, can we protect? And I've always been one who, Chris, you would know this because Coach Spurrier said it all the time in our meetings. When you throw deep, it's the same timing as your underneath 12, 14-yard route. Take your steps and let it go. If a guy whiffs, you're going to get hit, but you still should get it all. And I believe that same way. But I'd be damned, we didn't touch some guys Saturday, and Mertz took a beating. But yes, maybe I don't think Billy's listening to anybody. I think maybe Graham Mertz says, Coach, let me go win the game this week. And maybe that's what happened.
I think Shane and I texted about this on Sunday, though. What I am scared of, we saw something similar against Tennessee last year, where you go up to Knoxville, you open things up, you're throwing it downfield. Ricky Pearsall's having a big day. They're letting Anthony Richardson get outside of the pocket, running him, throwing some passes out on the boots and nakeds, and then you revert back to being conservative. My hope is that doesn't happen, although I'm not convinced necessarily until you see, like, it sounds like everybody's ready to anoint this team as a SEC champion and a team that can win national titles. That's far from where we are right now, but it's a step in the right direction. And the only way you continue is to build on what you did well in that game on Saturday. And hopefully, Coach Napier believes in Graham Mertz on his ability to manage when to take shots and when not to. And really, more than anything, I would say trust the receivers to be in the right place and make sure that the balls are going to get knocked down if they're not caught. So I think, this was a growing game for not only the players, but for the coaches and expanding maybe what their comfort level is for being a little more aggressive.
We saw it, Ricky Pearsall put on a display. You made a comment in your show today, Chris, that the overhead catch he made was more difficult than the one-handed catch. Is that right?
No question. I mean, when he faded, the way he tracked that football, that was always one of my favorite catches. It actually was something I learned from watching Chris Collinsworth back in the day. He was a guy that, and Shane as a quarterback knows this, like, I hate when guys run go routes and don't understand how to squeeze guys and save room, because I'm not going to outrun anybody, but I'm open if I can save 5 yards or more to the sideline and allow the quarterback to throw it over your outside shoulder and fade to it. That was a great job of finding the ball, showing the flexibility to bend to it and then get two hands on it. The catch he made against Charlotte was tremendous, but more than anything, it was a lucky catch, and it was one that was probably the beneficiary of the glove technology today. He admitted that. I mean,
yeah, he did.
Sometimes you put your hands up there and it just sticks, but the way he tracked that football today, that to me was the best catch I've seen him make.
And a more critical time as well. You really needed to have that one. So what are we seeing here? Now, I don't agree necessarily, Chris, with what you said. People are thinking they're going to win the SEC. No, I get it. I think we all wanted to see something, some response out of the coaching staff that produced a result. And as I said to Shane earlier, they had a problem, get started. They got that paid off, got it fixed. Come out of the box, run on the field and score. Yeah, their defense gave up, but at least they fixed that part. I don't think we all expect this team to win an SEC or even go to Atlanta. I think what we want to see is an improvement and a chance to be competitive. Now, I'll ask you this right now. We'll get to this question. Brock Bowers is out. Great football player. I know who's going to take his place. I talked to a guy about it today. But Georgia's just going to reload. We know they got plenty of weapons. But I don't know what the betting line is now. I think you talked about it today, Chris. It was 8.5, I think, at that time. Now, this guy has been a key player in this series for 3 years. He's been make clutch plays the whole time. How much of how much of a boost is that for the Florida team? And can you start to think, well, stuff happens. Maybe something's happening. Chris, what do you think?
Well, the spread we were talking about, I think, was Alabama-Tennessee. I don't know that there's been a line released yet on Florida-Georgia. I don't know that I've seen that.
Well, I thought someone called you or someone you had a text.
I think that was Tennessee-Alabama. I think they were talking about.
Okay.
But
all right. My bad then.
Here's the thing, man. Brock Bowers is a tremendous player, but they've got a number of other tremendous players at the tight end position. Getting Ladd McConkey back is huge for them, assuming he's at 100%. They developed some other guys. So it's not going to be an easy walkover whether or not Brock Bowers plays. Two, I said it. I want Brock Bowers to play. I want them to be at their best when we beat them. Like, I think any competitor wants the team that you're playing to be, at full strength, so you can take them down in that manner and not have there be question about what would happen if another player was back. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to play, but I think the biggest thing maybe is that you lose a guy that's incredibly versatile with what he can do. He's an underrated blocker with his hand on the ground. He can split out and play at the wide receiver spot. He can carry the jet sweeps. He actually carries the football from the tailback position and short yardage before. So he can do a lot for you, and he can also command a lot of attention that opens up a lot of other players. But if you go back and look last year, Ladd McConkey was more frequently targeted on third down situations. Yeah. He had more third down conversions too. So having him back is a big boost to that offense.
But the big playability still goes to Bowers. He always makes a big play in that game, has for 3 years, and I think that's the key for him.
He's only played 2, I think. I think the only play I remember is the big tip play. I mean, he's only a junior, so he's only played in 2 of them.
Okay. Well, he made big plays in both games. I remember him. I have to go back and look it up. Anyway, so we'll talk about it. He's such a clutch player. I think he's one of the best 5 football players in the country, in my opinion. I think he's a heck of a player. All right, so let's do this. Let me leave you with something here for a second while I do a quick break and get our sponsor in. But I want to know now if you can look at the picture ahead, looking down the remaining games. We saw what Missouri did. Now that's a different situation. We know that Arkansas looks like there might be a little. Look at the schedule and tell me now, since we talked about this team, and Shane, you said from the beginning they're going to win 8 games, whatever. You said it, and now that's on the table. I want you guys to look at the Missouri game, LSU's defense, and tell me when we get back, realistically, what can we expect out of this team in the final 6 games this year, which are going to, or 5, what is it, 5 or 6 games, I guess, right? Oh, here's the schedule. I got it right in front of me.
There's 5 left.
5 left, yeah. So, yeah. All right, so stand by. Let me just play this commercial real fast, and we'll be back, and we'll ask that question. Jeffrey Meldon. Jeffrey, you do a show where you ask a lot of questions. I've got one for you right now, okay, regarding how do you know whether your case is being handled right and what to do about it. In medicine, you can get a second opinion if you're not satisfied with the doctor's opinion that they have. And do you have that in law? Can you do that with lawyers?
Yeah, buddy. As a matter of fact, we get quite a few calls from folks that have signed up, particularly with the big box law firms, that they do a hell of a good job of putting ads on TV. But after that, they don't really measure up to the way we try to create a client experience that's outstanding. And we're always willing to review a case and give a second opinion, just like with a doctor, because not all law firms are created equal.
I guess that's the normal thing. Just go to Meldon Law, Google it, and find out, and just give them a call. And like you say, if you come in, you get to see a Meldon. You don't get shuffled off to somebody else. You get to see a Meldon, And that's good to know because a lot of people don't know how to do that stuff like me. And maybe you can coach us through. So, Meldon Law, they won't back down. They will. All right, thanks very much. Jeffrey Meldon and Meldon Law, they won't back down. All right, guys, here are the games. What looks winnable right now today? I think it's fairly obvious. I know, Shane, you said they got a chance against FSU. We'll see about that. Georgia.
Go ahead. Go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry.
I was going to give you the games. You go ahead and make your comment.
Well, look, FSU's a good football team. I think the guy that's made the difference is the transfer, Keon Coleman. I mean, he's a phenomenal football player. I think he's really changed their team. Mm-hmm. However, if you watch them play, their defense is not very good statistically, and they've beaten somehow beat a Clemson team. You know, they don't fumble. The quarterback doesn't fumble, scoop and score. Clemson wins the game. LSU is a good team offensively, but defensive they're struggling. So look, and it's at home. We've played extremely well under Billy Napier at home. We lost one time, and that was last year against Kentucky. So I think we win that game. Missouri's really good football team. Anything can happen there. Arkansas is probably going to be 2-7, 2-8 when they play us. Look, Georgia's the better team than any team we're going to play. They're the defending national champs, and we're going to have trouble with them. But the ball can bounce anyway. But so to answer your question, buddy, I think Georgia's the one clear team better than us. LSU on the road will be hard because Jaden Daniels is playing phenomenal. And their offense is on pace to break all kinds of records. But they can't stop anybody, so that could be a shootout. You never know. You get a couple turnovers. But FSU's got to come to our ballpark, and I like our chances.
All right, fair enough. Go ahead.
Here's the thing that you look at those games. Florida could win all of them. They could also lose all of them. Arkansas is a much better team than their record reflects. I mean, KJ Jefferson, you watch the way he played against Alabama. If he had any sort of blocking and any sort of run support in the run game, I mean, they're an improved team defensively from where they were last year. Missouri going there November 18th, playing in the cold is not Florida's strong suit usually, and so I could see us going 1-4 down the stretch. I could also see us winning all 5 games. So the problem that I have is like just when we got our hope up after the Tennessee game, then you come out and lay an egg against Kentucky. So I've got to see more than just one game in a row before I feel really confident. I will say Shane was the one that kind of turned me on to Graham Mertz and how well he thought he could be in this offense. I think he's been the one consistent throughout the season. I think he's been the one leader. I need to see some leadership on defense. I mean, I need to see some guys that step up and hold each other accountable. I need some guys that, again, keep guys out of the bars on Thursday night and get ready to play on Saturday. Like, could you imagine, Shane, what Coach Murray would have said to us if we were out on Thursday nights? And so,
well, a few guys were, just so you know. A few guys.
I didn't know about that.
I know.
Well, after you.
You're talking about, Dougie. But
yes.
Here's the thing. Like, I have a daughter in college, and I know who – Shane, your son's around here. I know who's out and stuff like that. That needs to be policed by the locker room. That needs to be something that the leaders get in place and get under control, man, because that drives me crazy.
Coach Spurrier's rule was you had to stop drinking your beers on Wednesday night, right?
That's right, Wednesday.
You have a few on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No more beer.
And then he would invite you up to the office and have a beer with you after that. That's what Bradley told me. He was shocked when he got invited to the office and got offered a beer by Coach Spurrier. That's when he was assistant coach. All right, so I think, look, we can sit here and assess this all day long, and we can talk about who's good. I mean, I'm not buying Arkansas. I have made a decision. I'm not buying Arkansas and Kentucky. Yeah, they play well against Florida. All these teams people say are going to be good. They're not good, okay? They're not good, and we'll see that. I mean, yeah, they played well. They had a big win. I'm not buying Missouri, all right? You're right. They could lose all 5.
Based on what? I want to know what you're basing that on. Like,
based on the fact that every year I hear this crap. Every year I hear it. I hear, they're going to be good this year. ESPN, everybody. I hear it every year. Chris,
every year I hear from you that they're going to win 9 games. Florida's going to win 9 games.
I never have said that. You misquoted.
In the last couple of years?
I haven't said it this year even either.
Oh, I'm not saying this year, but in the years past. I mean, I love.
Well, yeah, I thought they did. But Chris, don't make me bring up Kentucky to you, okay? So
Kentucky beat the hell out of us the last.
Yeah, what they do this past weekend?
6.
All right, they're not going to be competitive to win the title, Chris. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you think we are going to win the title this year?
No, I never said that.
All right, that's what they are. Kentucky has beaten us head to head, so they are a better team than we are.
Good, congratulations. They're just not a great team. I'm sorry.
We're not either.
Did I say that? No, I never said they were a great team. Chris, look, Shane does this for me every week. He'll tell you. Have I ever said they were a great team, Shane?
I don't think so, but you get pretty optimistic at times.
Wait a minute, you're the guy who picked them to win 8 games a long time before I did. Okay,
yeah,
so
because I thought we'd come out firing early in the year.
Well, you can't go back on it now, pal. You made your commitment, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm not changing
guys.
my mind.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, don't call me a sunshine pumper, because even though I may have pumped sunshine in my life one time, I saw Chris Doering pump a little sunshine today on the SEC Network.
I'm all about. I want it so badly. I want it more than anybody.
Yes, I know.
I need it. I'm tired of sitting there watching Benjamin Watson celebrate Georgia championships year after year, but it's not fun.
Yeah, and getting beat by LSU and losing, paying off your bet every year. I know. It's so.
Exactly.
But look, guys, we're all kind of this thing together. I mean, I think we tried to assess fairly. I tend to skew upward, but I've been I have not been that way this year. I've sort of said,
where do you think they finished, buddy? Where do you think they, out of the last 5, how many do you think they win?
3.
3?
Mm-hmm. That's beating FSU because Shane told me they were going to.
Well, I mean, look, the stats don't – I mean, you look at the stats. We're pretty good at home. We have the crowd noise. Florida State's a very good football team offensively. I got question marks about their defense.
Well, a lot of people got questions.
We got to worry about the Dukies this Saturday.
Hey, I'll say this, guys. I don't know that I remember home field having as big a difference and an advantage than what it is this year in the SEC. You go around the conference, home field has been a big difference. Look at Tennessee and Texas A&M this weekend. I mean, you go back to what, the Kentucky, not to bring that up again, but the Kentucky game. There's a lot of really big advantages that home crowds have created for their teams this year.
Yeah, not many teams are winning on the road.
Yeah. Well, Robert Turner is really worried I'm getting on Chris's nerves. He said, oh, boy, but he's getting on Chris's nerves. I'm not getting on Chris's nerves. We go back a long way. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I love coming on here and getting to be a real homer too. I want to see it for more than 1 week. I got to see a couple.
I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that. Just as I wrote, it's the first step of a journey of 10,000 steps. I get it, but it's progress, and that's what we needed to see, Shane. Right now, we needed to see progress. That was what was so disheartening. What happened in Kentucky? They reverted back. They regressed. And you think, is this the right coach? I mean, Billy Napier was heavily questioned the last 2 or 3 weeks by a lot of people. And he came through and did the job and got it done. I mean, give the man credit. Does it mean they're going to
my favorite part, buddy? My favorite part was that he showed emotion after the game. He was excited. He showed he'd been so stoic in a lot of ways. And maybe that's, the stress of being in that role, and when you win a game like that, you can let it out. But it was nice to see that emotion and happiness and just like pure reaction to what was going on, man.
Yeah. And by the way, he did do what you asked, Shane. He threw the ball downfield.
No, I thought he called a really good game. Like I said, that's the kind of stuff I saw this summer that got me excited, and we'll see if they continue doing that moving forward.
Yeah. All right. We'll let you guys go here, but I'm keeping you a long time, and Franz is waiting by. But over the weekend, a lot of things happened. Shocked about Notre Dame just manhandle USC, and now the Heisman Award's up for grabs now. Things change. All of a sudden, Michael Penix. Do you know where he's from, guys?
Tampa
Tech, of all things.
You know that he's a transfer too, buddy? A lot of these dudes that transferred have played a lot better at their current school.
Yeah, he was originally committed to Tennessee. He was supposed to go there before that got fired.
All right, who are we looking at here now? Number one, I didn't want to address the Heisman. It's too early for that. Tell me what's going to happen, because right now there's 4 or 5 teams you could put in there anywhere 1 through 5, and you can rank it doesn't matter who you rank at this point in time. Who's the best team out there right now, Chris? The best team. Never mind where they're ranked.
Man, shoot. I mean, it's such a weird argument right now. Who's the best resume to this point, or if you were,
best team?
Best team. Michigan's pretty dang good. I wouldn't.
Wow, you just invoked the name of a Big Ten team. All right, that's fine. I mean, really, have they played anybody? I mean, let's be honest.
But that's what I just asked you. I said, what do you think, resume wise, or do you think about?
Well, listen, it's your best team. I don't care. You name whatever you want.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Michigan is incredibly incomplete. I mean, they've handled every and to your point, I had them ranked in my ranking on Saturday night at number 4 because they haven't beaten anybody. But if I'm taking the team that I think is maybe the best and most complete, it might be Michigan.
And I heard you say today you didn't have Washington in your top 4.
I did. I left them out, man. Yeah. It's tough.
It's easy to leave them out. No, there's some. You can mumble like somebody said today. You can put them in a blender. There's 5 or 6 teams you put in there, and I'm not sure who I can pick one. I would probably show my.
This year we need the 12 team.
That was a very good point that you made today. I agree with you. We need it right now. We do, don't we, Shane?
Mm-hmm. It'd be fun.
Who's your team, Shane?
I mean, look, Georgia ain't been beat in a long time. Mm-hmm. Until somebody beats them, they got to be number 1. Mm-hmm. I love the Washington Huskies, what they're doing, because I think Michael Penix has had a tremendous year. Mm-hmm. I'm with Chris. I think Michigan's strong. FSU's outside the top 4 for me right now. They need to play a little bit better defensively. I put OU in there right now too.
I think OU belongs to the top 4. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, so it's a shame that it's not the 12 teams this year. It could be a lot of fun.
Franz, I'm going to give you one shot. You get your 4 teams, and I'm going to let these guys go. Go ahead.
I think there's 3 teams at the top, and that's Michigan, Georgia, and Washington, and then it's a toss-up for the 4th spot among about 5 different teams. Oklahoma would be one of them. Texas would be one of them. But I think those
Texas has a loss. You still put them there?
Well, if they beat Oklahoma the second time around too, they very well might.
They've beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and even if it's not a great year for Alabama, winning in Tuscaloosa is never easy. And you do that, that's a big gold star on your resume. I don't think Florida State's that good, but they may end up being in the playoff. And they're going to have to beat North Carolina, which is another one of these teams that, because they've got a quarterback that just might be the best player in the country other than Brock Bowers. And goodness knows, Mac Brown could work some magic. I mean, goodness, what is he, 99 years old and
doing a great job.
Coaching back when. Don't forget about Chiz's defense now. That's another Gator out there coaching.
That's right. I've totally forgot about Chiz's defense. Good point. I forgot about it. Have you talked to him, Chris?
Yeah, I texted with him yesterday.
Yeah. Here's the difference with North Carolina. The dude that's eligible now is legit.
Yeah, he is. Hey, and what are they going to do? He should sue the NCAA for loss of wages in terms of what he missed out on in NIL money and what he would miss out in terms of draft status for the first 5 games he missed.
And he would win. He would win, and it wouldn't even be close. The NCAA has what over its last 11,006 court cases.
Okay, we got to go. Francis is getting on the NCAA. Maybe a long night. Yeah. All right, guys. Great stuff, Chris.
Thanks, guys. You guys. Let me throw this at you before you let him go. I bet I will take Jim Harbaugh to win the national championship, then give the NCAA the finger by going to the NFL.
Well, first of all, he's not going to win the national championship, but we'll go from there anyway. So, good scenario. All right, thank you, Shane. Shane tomorrow morning. But thank you, Chris. Appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, Shane tomorrow morning on your program. We'll see Shane. We'll be all with Shane there. All right, let's do this spot, and we'll go turn it over to Franz. He has a lot to say tonight, I'm sure. And he's just waiting in the wings. First, I'm going to tell you about TitanMRI.com, first of all. Worth the short drive to Gainesville. No insurance is no problem. You can pay with cash or card, same-day scheduling available. Check them out. You start feeling better today because Titan MRI is North Central Florida's premier independent MRI facility. Come see why hundreds of people and patients from Ocala and the surrounding areas are now going to Gainesville, the location there, from the villages, from Ocala, et cetera, because same-day service and same-day scheduling and a short drive. TitanMRI.com. Appreciate their sponsorship. Franz.
Yes.
You like what you saw. Tell me the highlights of the Gator game, what you're most encouraged about.
Probably one thing that people are overlooking, and that's the fact that Austin Armstrong's defense had 2 consecutive 3-and-outs. Now, the first one, there was a 15-yard penalty for roughing the passer on Caleb Banks. And I'm not sure that was a roughing the passer because the guy was in motion outside the pocket running, and Banks was running too. That I thought it was a football play. But they're so sensitive about it that those plays get called. But he makes the 3rd down, and that could have been a truly deflating moment, because you're giving them 15 yards and another 3 downs. Mm-hmm. And they came through a second time.
They did.
And we can talk all we want to about how the defense sucked for 3.5 quarters. But when they came back and they made consecutive 3-and-outs there, then they come through the next time when South Carolina still has a chance. They come through with the pressure. They get the interception. That was incredible. Then we have the 2 4th-down plays that Graham Mertz made. The first one getting the ball to Arliss Boardingham, who is a legitimate player. And believe me, what we saw on the offense, starting with Vanderbilt and last week, is what we're going to see the rest of the year, because the one reason that they've been so conservative is you haven't had the guys that can make the plays. Buddy, how was it? Starting with the Tennessee game, I said they have to have somebody, a tight end, that'll catch the ball in the middle of the field. I've said it for weeks. Look what Arliss Boardingham is doing. Then you got Eugene Wilson. We saw what he did to Tennessee in that first half. We saw what he did to Vanderbilt, and now we have seen what he did to South Carolina. And he showed one thing. He's more than just a guy that's going to take little flickers and little jet sweeps, etc., like that.
You got some game. You got some game,
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a tremendous awareness play by a legitimate wide receiver when he catches the deflection off Pearsall.
Yeah, you better pay attention to things like that. You don't get that from freshmen that often. Just getting their attention is a big job. And so I love the quote afterwards that when Billy said that, like Coach Spurrier said, that God smiled on the Gators. Am I imagining that, or is he starting to embrace some Spurrierisms?
I think he feels a little bit of I think Chris made a good point back there. I think that he needed this win. I think he needed this win as much as the Gators did. Not because he's going to get fired, but, he's putting everything he has into implementing this plan. And he needed this for a variety of reasons. It tells his team, it tells the Gator Nation, and it tells every recruit out there that the plan is working. And I think that's important.
All right. Of all the things you saw, and you mentioned this, we did a show Saturday, and you brought this up Saturday. You answered this question by saying that you liked the way they came out of the box and marched the ball down the field. They were ready. And I agree with you, because that indicates to me that Billy has addressed a problem, getting a team ready to play mentally, and they were ready to play. Other than that, of all the things you saw, when you come away from that game, what impressed you the most, Franz?
What impressed me the most was this is a team that could have hung its head so many times in there. I'll give you one perfect example. It's the second time they're down 37-34. They've just gotten the stop. Graham Mertz throws 3 consecutive incompletions. A lot of quarterbacks with that kind of pressure on them airmail it or they short arm the ball. A lot of guys in the huddle sit there and they say, "Oh crap, it's 4th and forever. We're going to lose, etc." Everybody did their job, and Mertz rolls out, gets away from the rush, and then throws an absolute laser on the run. Now it took a leaping catch by Ricky Pearsall, but here's the thing: that's clutch and clutch. Pearsall has the presence to go back shoulder on the guy to make the catch, and what an absolute play by him. If he keeps running, that's an incomplete pass and the game is over. But he has the presence, knowing his quarterback, to make it back shoulder, and he makes the leaping catch, a 26-yard gain. And this is the thing. This was it was 4th and 10. They go for 26 yards. They took it. They went. Watch the routes on that on the replay. They're going vertical. Holy cow! Now that is confidence, and that's a reason to be excited about where the Gators are going. I don't think they could have. I guarantee you, they would not have made that play call 3 weeks ago. They make that play call now because this offense is growing in confidence, and he's given Graham Mertz the players he needs to make the passing game go.
How impressive was that interview? I got an interview here today from earlier. I can't play it tonight. I'll put it online. It's Chris's interview with Mertz. He and on the SEC Nation. Mertz is becoming suddenly a very highly respected quarterback. He's a terrific leader of this football team. They followed him, and he's a tough, like Shane said, he's a tough kid. He's gotten hammered and gotten up. So new respect in him for him, and you hope he's not going to get hurt. But looking down the line now, a lot of things are possible if he stays upright and they can keep their team rather healthy when they start running the football a little bit better. So, all right, so what has to happen now to get ready for the big gape in Jacksonville, which is a little early. They won't even start practicing later in the week. But Brock Bowers, how much is him being out going to matter?
It's a huge loss for Georgia. He is their Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall is that guy that Graham Mertz knows. Okay, it's 4th down. Let me find Ricky. Carson Beck, if he gets down to 3rd down, 4th down, he always knows where is Brock Bowers. But it's more than that. Look at what this guy adds to their running game. And we tend to forget Brock Bowers is a former 5-star high school running back. I mean, he was a big-time running back who made the transition to tight end. And Lord have mercy, he and Kyle Pitts are the two best college tight ends I've seen in a long, long time. My goodness, they're great. But that's going to be a big miss for them. But I can tell you something. Look what Graham Mertz. Good line. Mertz is playing more like Fred than Ethel. The most famous Mertz is Fred and Ethel. Here's one of the things that I was looking this up, buddy, and this is going to tell you why Graham Mertz is better than what we thought. I looked it up. Tanner Mordecai, a guy who had thrown 76 touchdown passes in his career, transferred to Wisconsin. Everybody at Wisconsin says, "Oh boy, Mertz is gone. We got Tanner Mordecai, a guy that has been, who in his last 2 years at SMU threw 72 touchdown passes, 76 in his career. A guy who had thrown for more than almost 8,000 yards in his career. Tanner Mordecai averaging 6.3 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Meanwhile, look at what our guy's done. Averaging 8.5 an attempt, 12 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions. We got a good deal here. You know, I keep waiting to see people admit that. I mean, Matt Hayes today kind of hedged on his Graham Mertz is the worst quarterback.
Don't be coming back on board, Matt. No room for you, pal. There's no room on the gravy train for you. You made your bed. Sleep in it.
I mean, he all of a sudden, you know, it's like
backpedaling.
I mean, he had Graham Mertz, the worst quarterback since before Gus Duraeus invented the forward pass, throwing it to Newt Rockne.
Yeah.
You know, my gosh, look at what's transforming here. People are going to be getting on this gravy train, and I guarantee you they are. But there will be critics, because I guarantee you there's people up at The Athletic who are never going to admit they're never going to admit anything in the SEC.
You mean Stuart Mandel?
Well, did I say Stewart's name? No, I didn't. But since you mentioned
I know you meant
it. Yeah. Stewie picked 3 and 9.
Yeah, I think you might be wrong. He might have missed that one. So
we're two overall wins and 2 SEC wins beyond that. And buddy, I can see this team winning 8 ball games. Mm-hmm. I really can see this team.
Well, Shane's been saying that all season, so there's still a possibility of that. And all right, so here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take a quick break and remind folks that you subscribe to Gator Bait to read the good stuff that we got. We're going to have even in the off week we work. We got a real hard core boss that makes us work during the holidays, France. We got to change that, get somebody new. So we'll be writing stuff all week long. Lots of stories to be told. I want to remind you to subscribe to Gator Bait. Go to GatorBaitMedia.com. Check out what we do there. We're pretty proud of it. We hope you enjoy it, like many people are enjoying it. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. It's free. Subscribe to it. Helps us a lot. If you subscribe to it, hit the smash, as Brendan likes it. Brendan's off tonight. I hope my granddaughter's getting better. She's a little under the weather tonight. Stella, feel better. Now, I'm going to tell you about Rensstar, and I'm going to let you take us out. How important, what a gift is Trey Smack. How this changes everything in these close games to have a leg like that. Meanwhile, Rensstar Medical Research, a proven reputation as a high-quality, patient-centered clinical research facility right here in Ocala. They bring cutting-edge clinical research trials to the area and things like Alzheimer's, dementia, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, migraines, fibromyalgia, and many other things that affect us in our community right here. Since their inception in 1998, they've had over 700 clinical trials. They continue to partner with prominent pharmaceutical companies and biomedical companies throughout the medical industry. In some cases, you can join these trials. Go to Rensstar.net, check out in some cases. Also, time and travel will be compensated for it. Rensstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Now here's Franz Beard closing out the night with how important is Trey Smack. I love that name. He should have been a linebacker, Trey Smack.
Well, I guarantee you he'd be 5 for 5 on field goals right now from the last game, except our two big guys whiffed. I mean, absolutely whiffed. That was an inexcusable whiff too. I mean, they let the guy right through. They just, I can't believe that 2 guys that weigh combined, 650 pounds can't get a hat on a guy and slow him down. But just the same, this is a guy that I believe is going to, before he's through, I think we're going to be looking at 60, 61, 62-yard field goals. Look at what he does as far as kickoffs. I mean, my gosh, his percentage of touchbacks is unbelievable. And when you know the other team isn't going to run the ball back on you, that's a huge start to every new series when you have to kick off. He's good for touchbacks. His 54-yarder the other night, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, buddy, but I thought that would have been good 58, 59 yards easily.
I agree.
What a leg. And I haven't seen him sneak too many in just inside the uprights. They all seem to go straight down the middle, and they all seem to clear the goalposts by a wide margin. I mean, you think about Oregon losing to Washington. Their guy boinked from 41 yards. That's how they lost that game, on a boink. I guarantee you, if Trey Smack boinks, it's going to be on something like 60. It ain't going to be on 41, that's for sure. But he's a weapon. And, it just goes to show you how this team is developing and coming on. I saw a question earlier that said this is the same offense Billy ran at Louisiana, but now he's just now opening it up. Well, there's a reason he's just now opening it up. He's just now got the people who can run what he wants. You play your offense to your personnel. And early in the year, when he didn't have Boardingham catching the ball in the middle of the field, guy who was a wide receiver, who's still learning how to play tight end, and he didn't have Trey Wilson, it changes things. Now look what happens. Here comes Wilson across the field like this. Here goes Boardingham in the middle of the field. What does that mean? Suddenly you cannot bracket Ricky Pearsall. So what happens when Ricky Pearsall is not bracketed the other day? What was it, 10 catches, 166 yards? Now all of a sudden everybody's saying, where did this Ricky Pearsall come from? Well, Ricky Pearsall could have been doing that the whole year if people hadn't been doubling up and tripling him up. But now they can't do it. It's kind of like when Spurrier had Ike, Riedel, and Quezzy. Who are you going to double? You couldn't.
It's called pick your poison. Pick your poison.
Yeah. It changes the dynamic completely. It's like when Spurrier had Riche, Jabbar Gaffney, and Taylor Jacobs. Once again, who are you gonna double? You can't, because the moment you double one of them, the other one's going to be wide. One of the other two is going to be so wide open. It's going to be a big game. And let me throw one other thing in. Khalil Jackson.
What a game he had.
Living up to that Jackson name and that number 22 jersey. That first catch he made, that long catch, I think it was like 43 yards, something like that. Was that Willie Jackson all over again?
Well, 52 is the longest of the season.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what it was. But was that Willie Jackson all over again?
Yeah. Yeah.
And to make my point, look at they ran the replay of this, and look what they showed. They showed Pearsall was open. They showed Boardingham was open. Wilson was open. And what did that leave? That left Khalil Jackson and Graham Mertz went for the deep ball. When you got options and you got people that can get open, it changes the whole dynamic. I think the future is looking really good for the Florida Gators right now.
Yeah. Franz, people are asking if you have a quick basketball comment since they started practice.
Yes, they're going to be really good. I got to tell you something. They're bigger than they were last year. They're going to be even bigger within another week or two when Simchick comes back from his injured. He's been in a boot because he broke his foot, but he's going to be fine in a couple weeks. The big kid from Marshall, Henlogton, 7'1", total rim protector. Tyrese Samuel from Seton Hall transfer, big body, physical bruising guy in the middle. The guy that's going to shock everybody is our Australian. Oh my gosh, he is really, really, really skilled. The two freshman big guys are players. They're players. Should have been ranked higher. The kid from Lithuania another freshman, very, very underrated. But then you look at the guys. Walter Clayton, the transfer from Iona, big time scorer, balances the floor. You can put Richard on the other side, Kugel on the other side. They're going to have trouble finding room for everybody.
My boy Kugel's going to have a big year. Big year.
He's bigger now, buddy. He's grown. He's a good 6'6" now, about 210. He played last year about 6'5", and I think about 198, 197 pounds. But he's about another, I'd say, 10, 12, maybe even 15 pounds heavier than he was last year. And
great stuff from the Iron Duke. He does double duty, football, basketball, he'll throw a little track and golf in there for you. He's got it all. He's the Iron Duke. You read him every day on Gator Bay. You hear him on this show many times. As usual, Francis, great stuff, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a good night. All right, folks, thanks for our guest tonight. Appreciate it very much. Chris Doering, and, of course, our regular Monday night host on Melon Law Monday is Shane Matthews. So back tomorrow night with our usual crew, plus other surprises for you on the Buddy Martin Show. Tell your friends and neighbors to check us out right here on this channel, YouTube, and other places.